Okay, so here we are. We've got one of the most exciting panels. All of them. We've had so many exciting panels, but this is super duper exciting. Let me bring in Dr. Darcy, who's going to be hosting it. You've just seen her talk, so you're going to obviously want to listen to her again. Dr. Darcy, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. People still buzzing. Got to love. I said it. Got to love a New Yorker. All right. So Darcy, we've got Satya and Suzanne and Dr. Andrea here. Would you like them? Would you like me to bring them on straight away?
Absolutely. Bring them on in.
Okay. Here we go. Satya and Suzanne, how are you? Lovely to see you.
Wonderful to be here, Bernardo.
Satya, thank you so much for this morning. Hi, Susan.
Hello.
Lovely to see you. Lovely to meet you. Satya, you were on fire this morning in the Superhuman panel with Caroline Corey and Nate. I absolutely loved it, man. Great. Can't wait to connect with you. And let me bring in Dr. Andrea.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm absolutely wonderful and excited to be with all of you.
Well, thank you so much. Well, the floor is Dr. Darcy, so she's the host. She's going to be asking the questions and leading you all. Thank you so much. Lots of love to you.
Hi, everyone. How are you doing?
We're having a beautiful day here in British Columbia. Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful. And Dr. Andrea, where are you?
I'm in Ohio this day.
Very nice. Very nice. And I'm here. I'm actually at my beach house in New Jersey. Normally in New York City, but for today I'm here. So it's lovely to be here with all of you. And I did so much research on all of you, and I'm so excited to talk to you today. Do you think Bernardo was like drawing a line in the sand when he called it rated R, not X? Do you think he wants like us to like just edge up on a boundary and not go beyond it? I always want to push boundaries. I'm half kidding, but I'm also pretty serious. I want to throw out or open up a discussion, which might be a strange stat for a relationship therapist to throw out. But we know this. At any given point, the divorce rate in America is north of 50%. And the number one reason for divorce is infidelity. And from a research perspective, flat out, what that means is that our expectation of monogamy is a big fail. And what I would love to throw out to you all on the panel is, what do you make of that? What are the solutions? Do we need to broaden our definition of what a relationship model should look like? Let me hear.
Please, Dr. Andrea, go ahead.
All right. So my philosophy on how people should or should not be does not evolve or depend on what other people think. So for me, it's really about the couple, individual, and as long as they're transparent and open with their partner and they really are focused in on how it affects other people and the world around them, then they're the only ones that can make that decision based on their faith, their family, their values, and what's important to them. And so they're going to get some pushback in certain things, and whether it's intimacy or politics or money, everybody has a different viewpoint, and you can only live the course of your life. You have to fulfill your heart. And sometimes your heart isn't in alignment with what the rest of the world thinks, but that's not our place to judge. So as a relationship consultant, I also am a publicist, and I realize my publicity business is up, but that's okay because it's relationships either way, because we have infidelity in business, just like we have infidelity in personal relationships. And that really comes to that meaning of bringing things together of, if you have communication and let people know where your heart is and what you want to achieve for yourself, then you're likely to live the life that you want, and the people around you will support that's right for you. So that's my opinion.
Do you think that, to any of you, do you think that we set people up for failure by expecting them to be monogamous? This is how we raise people in America by and large. Do you think we set people up? Is the bar too high?
I don't think the bar is high for monogamy. I think for most couples, that is a very powerful path of evolution. And the way Suzanne and I look at relationship is growing through different stages. We can be in the first stage of our relationship where we're getting to know each other. We're working on our codependent factors, if you will. As we mature, then we become more whole unto ourselves. Then there becomes a time in our relationship where the old models are no longer thriving. They're no longer exciting us. They're no longer evoking our spirit and evolving us deeper to each other and to spirit and to our highest service. So to me, and Suzanne, you know, in our way that we've been together 35 years. And so since we've been teenagers, and now, you know, we have 2 young adult grown children, we've come to recognize that passion equals polarity. And the number one reason we've seen with couples, we've taught over 100,000 couples in our workshops over the years, is the number one reason couples break down is because there's a lack of polarized energy. So, for example, I'm too animated in my feminine or balanced, or she's too animated in her masculine or too balanced. But when we naturally evoke each other's natural energetics, and I'm grounded in my masculine power, my integrity, my purpose in the world, it evokes within Suzanne her natural feminine essence. And that energizes our relationship, not just physically for passion, mentally, emotionally, and evolution-wise.
Suzanne?
Yes. Yes. So there's a quote that's been sitting with me for a long time, from the moment I heard it, and it's by Rumi. And the quote is, fall in love and close your eyes, fall in love and stay there. And I think that when we speak about monogamy or other, we're missing the mark. And it's interesting, the word, or how do I point to that? Love is up there.
Yeah.
The point is love. The point is that when we deviate from the place where we all know to be true, that is home. That place where we know there's a sense of fulfillment, there's a sense of deep unity and connection, which is what is so missing in the world right now. Mm-hmm. And we're remembering connection, and connection is what we're looking for. We're ultimately wanting to be in union with each other. Mm-hmm. And the moment that we step out of that in ourselves, first and foremost, out of ourselves, then we look to the outside, we look to our partner, and we say, where are you? Where have you been? Why are you not connected with me? And it's nothing to do with that. It's coming back to the love in your heart, remembering that place, uniting with that. And then the rest of the world will start to look like the very love that you're remembering or forgetting, depending on where you sit.
What are you guys seeing among the people you work with in terms of sexual taboos? What are people afraid to discuss or bring to their partners?
Wild sex, sex outside of your own marriage, outside of your own circle. The desire to open up is becoming more and more prevalent in society as we start to recognize that, hey, perhaps our own partner, maybe people have tried all the tricks and all the games and all the toys and all that, and there's still some type of deeper yearning for something. Now, the error we find is not addressing that yearning with each other and aiming to get that yearning met, but in clandestine space, which immediately starts to wreck and spoil and hurt ourselves, guilt, shame, and then starts to poison the relationship. But when we can honestly say, hey, I need you to sit down with me and open with me. So Suzanne and I use this very simple question. We look at each other and we go, open with me. And then she'll say,
yes. Then I'll say, open with me.
And we keep opening with each other until the separation, our minds drop, and what there is our hearts are in union. Then we can speak about the most difficult thing, our passions, our sexual desires, and sometimes just expressing those fully. It evokes our partner to want to help fulfill them, want to get more spicy.
Oh, Andrea, I'm going to pass it to you for a second.
Sure, I'll jump in. So I wanted to address that. Okay, so let me go back a little and then go forward. So regarding, monogamy, when so to me, monogamy is an expectation that the other person or in your life is going to fulfill your needs. To me, monogamy is really about self. You're monogamous with yourself. And then if you're in your highest purpose, your highest feeling of vibration, you feel loved, important, and confident, and sexy, and important, and seen, and heard, then your partner, you're not looking at them to fulfill any part of you. And so within that aspect, when we put people together as partners, it's because they choose to be together. And if you're in full enlightenment and they're in full enlightenment, then I think it's possible for you both to be monogamous together, especially if you have really good communication. And the taboo part, what I hear from people is the taboo of not being able to talk about things like saying, wow, that girl at the bank was so beautiful, whether it was the man or the woman or in a female-female relationship or male-male, or saying, I always was curious about whatever it might be that you're curious about. And the thing is sometimes you just want to talk about things or explore what that means or who's doing that or what is the definition of that. It doesn't even mean that you necessarily want to do it, but maybe you do. However, until you talk with that person. Yeah. So, Dr. Darcy, it's really about exploration, and jealousy goes away when you feel really good about yourself. Then you're not jealous anymore. And so, what I found through my practice over the last 30 years is people come to me wanting to be having the permission. It's almost like I'm a referee in the room for them to be able to talk about topics without anybody automatically going to, what? You think that?
Down.
Yeah.
Closing down, being open to bring it full circle.
Yeah, and that was beautiful what Sutton and Suzanne Suzanne were sharing with each other about that ability to be open. If you can be safe to say whatever it is that you want to say, whether you engage in that behavior or idea or thought or dream or fantasy or not, the fact that you can even have that word come out of your mouth is a really big deal to somebody.
I think antithetical in my mind to taboo is freedom. And when you can, what I hear everybody saying is that when we can just express ourselves and have permission to be wholly who we are and be transparent with our fantasies and our desires and explore things with our partners, for many, what I'm hearing the rest of you say is that what you're experiencing among the people you work with is that in and of itself is such a wall that people are so thirsty to overcome. And with that, I mean, it's such a simple thing. We just want to be able to express ourselves. That's basically what I'm hearing you say. I just want to be able to tell my wife about my partner, about my fantasies. I just want to be able to tell her my hopes and dreams and concerns. And I want to know that I'm safe within the relationship to do all of that. And that if we allow people to do that, are you thinking that some of the desire goes away? Is that
no? The desire doesn't go away.
It gets unlocked.
It gets unlocked and unleashed, and it gets stronger between the couple. So there's something that happens when we say "open with me," because what is going on is you're not just getting across what your desires are and just sort of land on your partner. You're including your partner in your desires. You're saying, open with me, together with me. You're part of this with me. You're integral to my evolution, my next stage, whatever it is that we do together, we are opening together. And in our own relationship, I mean, I can give you an example. When Satyan says, open with me, there's a level of intimacy that goes even deeper.
A subtext.
Absolutely. Such a depth of intimacy. So I am turned on in the moment because ultimately I want to be connected with him. And as long as I feel that, plug in, there's nothing he can say to me that's going to send me into another direction as long as we are connected.
I love that.
We may decide that this is not for us, or we may decide based on the connection that I feel safe enough to open to open to that.
That makes so much sense to me. And Dr. Andrea, you said something that really started my wheels turning. You said we want to be able to say when we're at the bank, oh, wow, that woman is really hot, or that guy is really hot. What amazes me is that we raise people whether it's overt communication or covert communication, to believe that the minute we make a long-term commitment to one another, it is no longer okay to find other people attractive. And I have such a visceral desire to disabuse people of that myth, because people are attracted to other people. We are human beings, we are alive, we will be attracted to other people. It doesn't mean that we have to act on it, want to act on it, or have some pervasive need to act on it. But the freedom to be able to acknowledge that somebody else is attractive instead of pretending to be a horse with blinders on, that
Yes.
feels very freeing to me.
I'd love to address that. So the word even attraction makes me giggle, because we're talking about something visually being attractive to us, or sounding, or the mental stimulation from someone who's like for example, I was talking business with a gentleman who owns a huge company. For 3.5 hours, we were throwing business ideas, and oh my gosh, I was just so alive and so enamored by his brain and his mind. That is an attraction. It doesn't mean necessarily it was a sexual desire.
Mhm.
So just like fear, we become, elicited with emotions and feelings of, heart palpitations because the scary guy coming or whatever in the corner, somebody in the corn, in some movie. Those excitement, that's that same feeling that can go along with sexual arousal, but doesn't necessarily have to cross that line. And what happens is I see a lot of couples who they have jealousy issues over things like, well, they liked so-and-so's post because they were doing that in business, or they did that with their children. And all of a sudden that somehow meant they want to have an intimate moment with them. No, they just thought that person was being a good mom, and they liked it. It didn't have anything to do with them as a couple or as an expression of love. And then sometimes there are other things, an attraction of things that people do that your partner is maybe not even interested in fulfilling. It's
Right.
not their obligation. So if you're a high level artist and you love to talk about art and creating things, and your partner's not into that, well, hopefully you found a partner that allows you to have other people in your world to explore that part of you. And to me, that could be even more intimate than sexuality. So it's just your view.
Right. I love that. I call that a talent crush. And I have them all the time on people I meet in business, people whose talent I admire, whether it's visual or performative. I think that it is so important to be able to acknowledge that, and to name it. Give it a term that is non-threatening, that lets your partner know that this is not somebody, who you're looking for an exception to monogamy with, but that, like, you really admire their, whatever it is. There's an X factor sometimes just in meeting people. We feel this pull to people, sometimes platonically, like you said, in business. And that is the fuel of my life. I love feeling that chemistry with other people.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
You know what, Suzanne and I, we have a practice that we came from very traditional Orthodox backgrounds, Hindu, Catholic, growing up. And, we grew beyond those, if you will, the conservatism of that. And one of the things that really helped us is to honor, revere, and celebrate each other's sexuality and sexual passions. Like, truly, as Suzanne was sharing, we connect in the heart, which has got that sizzle. Tell me, what turns you on, babe? And this is where we go to the X, the R and X rated dimensions. We're like, yeah, tell me more about that. Yeah, get it out. And then celebrating her whatever wild desires are, fantasies. And even though my masculine sort of ownership side might go, I got to learn to relax that, open that, and get into the groove of her excitement, of her passion. Because guess what? After she's fully expressed it, I become the happy recipient of her passion.
That's
right?
absolutely true.
And vice versa, right? So we have a practice of celebrating and honoring the wildness, because each one of us, every one of us, are far more sexual than we can ever imagine, that the world wants to know, admit, or even own. But the world is all animals, all life is basically having sex right now and looking to have sex. That's everything is doing right now. If we recognize that the whole experience is the fuck of consciousness and light, and we're the embodiments of that, then we can play that game in temporal ways and play it with fun, joy, but also with that sizzle. And respecting and loving our partner gets turned on by life and by whoever. That is an egoic cultivation to move beyond. But when you do, bam, it's like amazing.
Yeah, and so how do you do that? Because how do you separate yourself, oneself, from the ego, from the pride of she is mine?
It's a combination of she is mine, and in our relationship,
I
she
just
is
got chills
mine.
from that. No,
It
I
is,
just
she
got
is
chills
my
from
woman.
that.
It's that not ownership, but it's that loving claim that we're walking together. My beloved, we're going to cleave together till death do us part, whatever the hell happens in life, whether we get rich, poor, illness, health, but we're cleaving together and we're moving that way. That is the train. That is the sacred horse that we ride upon, which gives us the safety to express the full gamut of sexuality and to enjoy the shares after a while. But it is a journey. But you got to hop on with that energy of we cleave together. No matter what we say, we're going to get stronger through this.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was really, really, I'm like speechless. I'm just like in the conversation with you. I don't have a next thing to say. Who wants to talk now? Because I was really present.
I'll share because so I love your expression of it, and what I love about this is that we can have different views of opinion and they're all right. There is no right or wrong. So me, I don't consider as everybody necessarily having sex. I see sex as an act, where I see sensuality as a sense of being, and so they both are correct. There's just a perception of view of what works and what fits in with your values and what's important to you. So, being able to have a conversation like this where we give people permission to be playful and fun and see this beautiful couple who is able to express things together and, and to be present in a space where when we're talking about the love event, it doesn't mean that people are less in love if they choose a different form of monogamy or do not choose monogamy at all. That actually might be their love expression, but it's their love expression, their definition of the word, not ours placed upon it.
That's beautifully said.
What a great panel! Thank you so much. I absolutely loved it, and I love the combination of all of you and what you all brought. And the reason I wanted to jump in was we were going to go over a few minutes, but that's okay. I read one of the books I read recently was Christopher Ryan's Sex at Dawn, which he literally obviously disputes and with facts and information about monogamy is obviously something that's been created and invented by men in these last couple of centuries. So my question to you was, and we've got a panel about non-monogamy tomorrow, and we're talking about that tomorrow, but my book I've just published now is called A Man Evolving, and it's confessions about monogamy, passion and broken hearts. And I obviously come from a generation where we would get together and we're forever and ever. Okay. So, and I was with my partner for 30 odd years. And the reason it ended is because I was living a lie, like many men, especially my generation, kind of, you had to stay with your partner forever, and we never discussed kind of the deep subjects that we should have discussed. And as I said, as many men, as many of my friends, I cheated. I confess this, and I state this in my book. And I was saying that I was living a lie. So the reason I wanted to write the book was because I wanted to dispute to a degree how many couples are living lies now, because I didn't want to live that lie anymore. I didn't want to be that person that continued to. And I didn't feel complete. I didn't feel a man. I didn't feel a good father. I didn't feel obviously like a great partner or a good partner at all. So I needed to break up from that. And that's where obviously I'm in a different phase now where I am evolving and exploring, is it monogamy? Is it non-monogamy? Would I be in an open relationship? So I'm just saying this because I'm from an older generation. So my question to you all was, is monogamy dead? Are the younger generations now 30 and beyond? Because you, Satya and Susan, obviously, you've got something that's worked for you for many, many years. But it is for the younger generations and coming out, is monogamy dead? Is that something that doesn't really exist anymore? Because there's no long term anymore, is it?
I think that monogamy is very well alive and kicking for a lot of people. I think options are open in ways that they weren't. And with each additional generation, I think the youth push, each generation breaks some boundaries, which makes room for the next generation to break new boundaries. And so I don't think monogamy is dead. I think that people are questioning more and following what they're told less, which I think is great, regardless of what that shapes out to be. But I know that that makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what you said before, Darcy, was great. Is at this time, at this moment where we are right now, I love you and I can see myself, but this is right now, and that's the fact, isn't it? And unless you have those open communications where you want to open to new things and really carry on together, that's it. So, anything else you would like to add just to finish the panel?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah. Well,
Colin?
I'd like to say that what I think is lacking in the world right now is people remembering the part about connection and staying in connection no matter what happens, because I feel that right now it's a throwaway society. And what I mean by throwaway society is that if it doesn't work out in terms of us opening together, for instance, we do the practice and one of us is not opening with the other, well, then I'm gone, or then he's gone. No, it doesn't have to be that way. We can have our desires. We can want to be with others, and we can celebrate each other being alive, because it's about aliveness. Saying that you're going to be together for the rest of your life and only look this way and never see the flowers, never see the ocean, never see the mountains is crazy. What is even more it's a disease that runs through the world right now, is that we forget that we can be in relationship and that we can continue to open with each other, whether I'm opening with my partner here and I'm staying open, I'm staying plugged in, I'm listening to him, I'm hearing his thoughts, his dreams, his desires, and staying with him in that. That is the thing that's missing. It's not the monogamy, non-monogamy. It's are you willing to sit in the fire, the sweet fire of transformation with each other and commit to that? And if you are, then and only then should you be able to go on and connect with others. If you can't with one,
I agree.
as our teacher has said, then
Amen.
would you go out and be with? Why?
I love it when clients come to me and say, so, I've been having a lot of trouble with my partner. So we had a conversation this weekend. We're thinking of opening it up. I'm like, I can tell you how that's going to work out, but you're not going to listen to me. So you just go ahead and do that. I'll write down how it's going to work out. I will seal it in an envelope. We'll open it in 2 months. And you let me know how that works. And it's not about me being right. It's about the naivete. A ring is not going to fix a broken relationship. A marriage is not going to fix a broken engagement. A baby is not going to fix a broken marriage. And an open relationship sure as fuck is not fixing a broken relationship. The level of communication and transparency and relationship skills that people need to be in an open relationship are not to be minimized. They're monumental. And if you can't do it with one person, as you said, Suzanne, best of luck. You just go try. Tell me how it works out.
Yeah.
My Tantra teacher, he told me years back, he goes, Satyan, if you can't open one woman to God, you don't deserve two.
There you go.
Wow.
What I've learned for the younger generation is they're more open to healing and releasing,
Yes.
limiting beliefs. There are things that have been passed down, different viewpoints. And when Suzanne was talking about, looking around the world and seeing other things, boy, what a more beautiful experience to have, that someone can look around the world and they choose to be with you. And then again, people are able and go and do already have sex with lots of people and have great sex, but what they're lacking is true intimacy and true heart.
Yeah.
So if you can have the heart So, that may not fulfill you. And what I often hear is that wasn't fulfilling. They thought it was in the moment, but it just fulfilled one part of their life. So when you can have that opportunity to explore together and choose that life for yourself, then it allows things to be better. For example, my husband and I, our wedding vows were, promise me that all you say is true. Love me, that's all I ask of you. From Phantom of the Opera, because I'm not going to ask him to stay forever. I'm just going to ask him to be open and talk to me and have a conversation and to love me.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Lovely, lovely, lovely people. Thank you so much. I think it was lovely. So insightful. Dr. Darcy, Dr. Andrea, Satya and Susan, thank you so much. Lots of love to you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Okay, what a great panel that was. What a great panel. This is what the Love Event is all about. Having some real conversations. We're just going to have a 40-second break, and I'm going to bring Jen Duplessis on. Thank you so much.
Telling you